What's up, oh arrogant one? Welcome back to the podcast. It's been like a month since you've been on here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
Your
while.
your hair is growing, time for a haircut. How was Christmas with your imaginary brother Rex and the rest of your family? Was there
Christmas was good. I
yeah?
ate a lot of food.
Oh,
I can't remember the last time I ate that much food in like 2-3 weeks.
oh yeah, reindeer bowls for everybody. There we go. Traditional
We
Finnish
actually had
Christmas food.
reindeer. We actually had a lot of reindeer meat. So
Yeah, and don't forget the whale
almost.
blubber and the delicacy of the reindeer bowls.
We don't have whales here.
Uh, yeah, but you're near the ocean, so there's probably some whales there.
No, there isn't.
I have no idea where you are. Anyway, Max, this is the first time you've been on her, and we're gonna drop our new intro that you actually helped do a lot of. So let's get on. We had a big race this weekend. We have some news to talk about. So let's drop that intro.
Yeah, man.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
Hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you Arrogant Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 162 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keena White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And over there is the arrogant one, Maximus Mortimus. What's up, Maxie? How you doing?
Good. Been building my new car. I don't know if you have heard of the Mayako. This is it. Almost done. Just radio trace and putting the diffs in and engine and so on.
Yeah. So the plan was JQ was going to build my car, right? That was the plan. Well, he built the shocks. And that's as far as we got. So I have to finish building that. But welcome back, Max. You haven't been on her for a minute. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yeah, Max, our new intro. I remember. So quick story. I got to tell this story about our intro. So we was like, hey, we want a new intro for the NNRC. Max only wanted it to be 15 seconds long. I was like, no, we can't wrap up 160 episodes in 15 seconds. Then I got him to move it up to 30 seconds. Then I was like, well, you want all these voice drops in her, Max, so we got to move it up to 40. So it's 1 minute and 20 seconds now. And yeah. I love it. People think it's a little bit too long, but that's fine because I think it encapsulates, I think it encapsulates. Yeah, I think I wanted the intro to encapsulate us. I think it caught us, it caught me, like it caught my daughter. I'm her watching RC race. She came riding across, and a little bit of our adventures. I was about to say in Spanish, adventures in RC that we've had, shooting guns, going to Bolivia and them doing some wild dance. All this type of stuff is just travels from that JQ and I have been on and you. So I like the new the new 15-second intro, 15 seconds times 10 almost. And yeah. Max kind of just gave up on trying for it to be short. Like he just was like, all right.
Yeah. When Keenan was like, hey, we need all this stuff to be in, I was just like, okay, this is never going to be under 30 seconds. So
but I like it, and it pays some tribute to
Yeah,
our
it's good.
patrons.
It's very
And
nice.
I still don't have the guy's name who made it up. But an RC guy hit me up. He mixed all the music and the voice notes and all that together. And then we got Zach, who did who's been helping out with RCGP. And Max was very involved, and he got the video done. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. I like it. We're gonna stick with that for a little while. And yeah. So with that said, guys, this is one of our Monday recaps of races and news. And before I go on, I'd like to say thank you to a few people. And that's I'd like to say thank you to the NNRC Squad around the world. It's 2022. You're gonna see more of us. Excuse me. My palate was dry. Excuse me. I'm better now. So yeah, thank you to all the NNRC Squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. We greatly appreciate the support, what you guys give us. Shout out and thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. We greatly appreciate what you guys do. Without you guys, we couldn't do this either. You help keep some bills paid and stuff like that. So we greatly appreciate help pay Max, all this type of stuff. His big giant salary that he gets from being on the podcast, and
well, at this point when I'm studying, it's actually in percentage wise, it's actually a huge part of my income.
Yeah, he probably buys a bunch of ramen noodles off his salary and probably enough to buy a case of beer.
I haven't actually checked if you have even paid me. It's on my PayPal. So.
Oh yeah, check that. Make sure you get paid. And if you guys wish to be a patron and help Max get some more ramen noodles, let us know. We appreciate all the support that we have.
I think we need raw rice noodles.
Yeah, I think everybody wants us to do a NNRC Fantasy League thing.
Yeah,
I have no idea how to do that, but I would like to do it to patrons, so we'll see how that works. And we'll see. All right. Also, we have awesome companies that believe in our podcast and think this is a great place to advertise. And we let's say thank you and shout out to them. They are Invisible Speed. They are our main sponsor this year. TNR Fuels, High Tech RC, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs RC Racing Tires, Mayako, JQSM, new sponsor for all your charge lead needs, G-Spec RC tuning, Papa Willie's for all your traction needs with his traction tonic, Racecraft USA, get pitted with the command module. Joining us is Clinic RC, Tony Newland. He's also a co-host. He was on our last show, when we looked at the CRCR race. He has an awesome new oilless filter for 8 scale, which I think is going to take off. Seems like a lot of people are getting them. JTP RC, we're going to talk about that because he put some teasers up of his new engine. And I'd like to shout out to RCGP, who I think they're going to be opening up their sign-up soon. I actually was helping test out the new sign-up system the other day with House of RC. It's pretty straightforward, so people should be able to do that. If you have a profile in House of RC, it makes it so much easier. So I would suggest you guys go and sign up and make a profile on House of RC. If you haven't, if you want to join RC2 in March. And yeah, special shout out to RC Kevin, David Runnerfalk, and the doctor, who's been racing a lot, Alex Hagberg. All right, Max. So yeah, real quick, tell everybody how your Christmas was, because you have not been on her since Christmas. So just give us a little synopsis of Max Mort's Christmas, and then we'll move on to some RC news.
I just didn't do almost anything. I just watched movies, ate a lot of popcorn actually.
Really?
Now I'm a huge fan of popcorn. So
what type of popcorn do you like?
Salted, just a tiny bit of, actually no butter. I like when you just do it in oil. It's better.
So you're making popcorn. We're not talking about microwave popcorn here. We're talking about where you actually make. Are you not like a popcorn connoisseur?
Not a popcorn connoisseur.
Oh.
I mean, both is fine for me. Popcorn is popcorn, but no butter. That's just.
Funny thing when
pure stuff.
Yeah, I thought you might have like a kettle and be getting all into kettle corn and all this type of stuff. Me taking your popcorn needs seriously. But funny true story, when Joseph and I were in Peru, right? Which I found to have probably some of the best cuisine I've ever eaten in my life. I never thought Peru would have that cuisine. So for their apps, so they must have about 25 different types of corn in Peru. You know what I mean? Like big kernels, small kernels, black corn, purple corn, blue corn, red corn. They got it. All different types of corn. In fact, they make a corn juice, which is really good. So what they do for appetizers in this restaurant is they take different kernels of corn and like kettle pop them. So that like it's like a seed that's popped but still crunchy on the outside. You get what I'm saying? So we got big like kernels of corn like that. That are, we mashed up this. That was the best, but just a little bit of salt on them.
I think I've not Peruvian one, so obviously, but I've tasted corn like that, and it's crazy good. It's very rare.
You know, like
it's very rare to get somehow. But
yeah,
it's
so
crazy good. People should.
That was
try
one
it.
of their appetizers at this one restaurant that we went to. So yeah, good stuff. Well, you're back. 2022 is on us, Max. We're gonna be super busy. We just had a big race this past weekend. Oh my, It's Monday. I set the internet on fire this morning. You know, with my biggest losers, biggest winners comments, and
I'm gonna
talk
have
about
a
that.
few. I'm gonna have a few words with you about those who are the biggest losers and winners.
That's all right.
I'm gonna set the record straight here.
No, that's your
I have
opinion.
a little disagreement with you.
That's fine.
on some
It's
of
great to
those.
have disagreements. I just know that I'm never going to win against you because you're finished. So I just have to, you know, I just have to agree. And secretly, I'm doing this. Like, I don't agree with anything Max says, and I'm right. And
To finish first, you must be finished.
yeah, I'm glad I'm not
Yeah.
finished. I am so glad, you know. But anyway, you know what? We have a little bit of RC news to talk about, Max. So let's do that. And this week's RC news is brought to you by High Tech RCD. Come find us at DNC. When we go, the NNRC will be set up in the High Tech booth. That will be the headquarters of the NNRC for DNC. Just look for the High Tech tent, and that's where I will be. And we'll be doing all our stuff from there. So thank you to High Tech for providing that with us. And High Tech RCD is a leader in RC systems, delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by dedicated customer service personnel. The HSBC, right here, HSBC 938 1TH servers have efficient brushless motors, low consumption, constant output, and a metal case. They also regenerate power back into your battery. The RDX Pro Charger 2, RDX2 Pro Charger, right here, just a box, but charges over there, can charge 2 battery packs at a time. I've been charging up 2 6-cell battery packs for my boat, and it takes about 45 minutes to do that. And it also provides power for your engine, heating, and tire warming needs. And it's a USB, so you can hook up your phone and charge that as well. Also, it has a Bluetooth dongle that you can track the usage and everything. You can do everything from your phone when it comes to your charging needs with your RDX2 Pro Charger. So, trust in High Tech, your server and charger headquarters. They are a big part of the NNRC this year. We greatly appreciate them on. Visit them at hightechrcd.com. Where to buy to find your nearest retailer. All right, Max. So, not too much news this week because we're going to be talking about the race. But real quick, Proline Hexon tires leaked on Live RC last weekend. And then quickly, they were removed from Live RC's. Like, you can't find it. It's like it's going to
Live
Area
RC
51
moved
now.
it.
I don't know if Live RC removed it. Proline probably said, hey, can you take that down? So it was like a leak.
To be honest, do you think Neo Buggy would have taken it down?
I wouldn't have taken it down.
Yeah. I don't think this is what a media in RC should do, to be just a puppet for the sponsors. Because
Jesus, you came out swinging first thing in 2022. Whoa.
no,
Wow.
I mean, that's just my opinion. Like,
Right.
that's not independent media. That's not reporting. That's just doing what the guy with the money tells you what to do. And
Well, I agree with that.
unfortunately, they're looking after the wallet, which is in this world, unfortunately, what you have to do. But yeah, if we wanted to live in a perfect world, that definitely would never happen. And I wish we were in a state where that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but that's just kind of how it is. And it looks interesting. I don't know why I get why they want to hide this. You know, tires are probably some of the biggest things that are copied in RC. So,
Yeah.
you know, just go up and check it out. And there you go.
Yeah, and the thing is,
have a
like,
new tire.
now that Horizon owns them, like, they can say, well, screw every single sponsorship unless you do this. So, like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, of course. We know how it works. All right. Other quick news. Tim Lime is now the J&T USA servo team manager. So I guess he's in charge of the J&T servos. I just see that they came out with some servos. They come in some really cool,
Wasn't-
actually, little cases. He's
Didn't
their
he used to do like MKS?
no
Or was that
expert.
Some-
I want to say.
okay? But he had some servo brand
Yes,
he
expert.
did before.
Expert. Yeah, he did expert before. Now it's J&T. Will Skidmore, Ricardo Montero, and this is a young, I guess she's a young female racer from the UK, Harley Eldridge. You know
What
her?
about Johnny Skidmore?
He already, no, this is what I couldn't understand. They announced Johnny last week. And then they announced Will this week. Why the separate?
Maybe they wanted to have a little tease of maybe Will doesn't drive for the same brand as Johnny, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit off.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't work. But Will is Johnny is the better of the two, I want to say, right?
Well, I don't want to be too harsh on this, but Will for a long time has been super good.
Mhm.
But generally they put more effort into Johnny's racing, and they have been for a long time because Johnny used to be a lot better than what Will has been. But in
Okay.
recent years and sort of recently, Will has improved a lot and has actually challenged Johnny here and there. So,
Yeah,
for
I can.
example, last weekend Will beat Lee Martin just straight up.
Did he
First race with new car, straight up beat Lee Martin.
really?
So yeah, so Will is not he's
not
not
a
a
slouch.
slouch behind. Yeah, not a slouch behind the wheel. So for sure, I wouldn't be surprised to see Will do just as good as Johnny or even better at some races.
Why not? Why not? Maybe he wants to have his own identity as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not be
exactly.
so connected to his brother. But X-Ray, I think X-Ray picked up some decent guys here. Ricardo Montero, decent Portuguese driver.
Yeah, he's and considering the Euros will be in Portugal,
Mhm.
Worlds in Spain, for sure, a great pickup for X-Ray. And Ricardo is a very good driver. He's been a bit shadowed by the fact that he's living in Portugal, so he doesn't race
Mhm.
that much abroad apart from Spain. But he's been a very talented driver for a long time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. We also had X-Ray releasing a tease of their new X-Ray XB822 in the last over the news. Just just what they do. A full release of the XB822 is set to roll out early. I guess this week they'll be rolling this out, but they just put the typical X-Ray tease up there. Do you expect much from X-Ray this year, or just
No, looking
yeah.
at the XB2, XB4, I think this year was mostly T4, X4. Sorry, what it was called. I think X4, the
Mhm.
on-road car. I think that was their big release this
Focus?
year. And yeah, I can't see a reason why they would massively improve their nitro buggy, as nothing really has happened. Testman has obviously raced, but feels like he's been not improving crazily or just doing the same. So I don't think I don't think there's anything new in the pipeline. Maybe they'll try stuff before the Worlds, and then after Worlds they release their 2023 car, which most likely will have a lot more updates.
Yeah, just to let you know, Johnny Skidmore was announced back on January 10th. So
Yeah.
yeah. Jared Tebow, JTP RC, they have released a teaser pic of his new engine. It's called the JTP RC engine. It's called the N04NR. Now this is also MX branded as well. It's got stars on it. It's got the JTP logo on it. I think I'm not quite sure exactly what this is. Hopefully we'll have Tebow on this week to talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's just selling his MX based engines, which I mean he's been doing this all
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah,
So
the thing to me which is weird is that as I believe MX wanted to pull out of at least the engine market altogether, and to be honest, they never really wanted to sell them anyway. They would just have team drivers. So to me, it's weird that they still somehow want to stick around, because I don't think Tebow would put the Maxima name on it just for the sake of it. I
right.
imagine Maxima has been somehow involved monetarily, So yeah, it actually really interesting. I don't know, like my best guess is that Maxima, like he made a deal with Maxima that they pay some amount and he sells them forward, and yeah, so something like that.
Something's there.
Yeah.
But good to see. This is the year of signature engines. So everybody's gonna have a
Yeah.
signature engine. It seems
Yeah.
like. And
What do you think of the Drake drivers now?
well, that's it. We got Brian Cotta, who's a very fast Northeast driver. He signed off with them. Spencer Rivkin, Tyler Jones. So
Bornhorst too. I guess
Born
he was
Horse.
last week, but yeah.
Born Horse, yes. So I wonder how that works. Does he get? Do they get free engines from him? Do they get a paycheck, or do they just get contingency? Is Drake making enough money to?
I doubt that any of them will get a paycheck because just the sort of volume that Drake is able to sell, and also the fact that the amount of drivers he has. If it was Mayfield that run Drake engines, then okay, maybe Mayfield will get a paycheck. But when it's Rivkin, Bornhorst, all of these guys who are kind of around his circle, and looking at Rivkin, he was running Maxima engines until the very end of last year, even though obviously the contract was run out by the midpoint of the year. So to me, it's just Rivkin maybe wants a good engine. That's it. And Drake.
Why
is,
not Protec and get a paycheck like Mayfield?
Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he doesn't have that good ties with A-Main. I don't know.
Maybe.
No clue.
Maybe not. We'll see. It's interesting. So but look,
actually,
like, what I have to say is that these guys have to get compensated monetarily some way, right?
From Drake.
Yeah.
I don't. I really actually doubt it because the engine market it's only
so flooded.
OS. Yeah, the thing is, like, for a driver like Rivkin, running, let's say, well, I don't want to say any particular brand, but running a brand that isn't an OS is a risk. And the fact that maybe he gets a few $100 a month, let's say $500 a month, maybe he wins Roar Nationals this year, the contingency he gets from AE is much more. It covers already that. And if he has any doubt in his engine program, that $500 a month isn't really, that's not covering the fact that maybe you don't win the Roar National. So maybe, like in Spencer's case, he, like, obviously this is a bit far-fetched, but he could even win the Worlds. And if he doesn't feel comfortable in his engine program, it's worth it to not take the paycheck. Kind of like what Ronafog is doing with tires.
I don't think it's far-fetched that Rivkin could win a Worlds after he drove all he drove this week. Oh yeah, we'll see.
I'll tell you what happened. So I tell you my sort of thought process behind what happened, and I think then you understand why I said that. But yeah, that's going to be later on in the show.
All right. Also, True Form or the people, hot race guys, TJ Bradley and Daniel Chavez, they have come out with True Form. True Source RC has come up with True Form RC, which will be a line of bodies and accessories for RC cars. I think mostly for HB and X-ray cars at the moment. It looks like. So
yeah, I wonder if this is somehow connected with racecraft because it's same area, I believe.
No. These guys are out of Florida.
Oh, okay. Because
so
everyone was in the West Coast, I heard of. So that's why I thought it was in.
Right. This is TJ Bradley and Daniel Chavez. They're out of Florida. So they were the original, or still are the original hot race importers.
Oh, okay.
And so this is the guys you'll see Curl with at races mostly, and especially on the East Coast. So yeah, they've launched an accessory and body line to complement their tire line, or the hot race tire line. So
I am actually very impressed about especially Racecraft and now this True Form company. Their sort of social media video marketing has been very nice, and it's a very refreshing seeing something like this because I think this has been long overlooked in RC. It's like some brands do it, but it's maybe one video here and there, one release, driver release or something like this. Kyosho also does in Japanese some videos, but it's in Japanese that it doesn't really spread out to the outside market. But I'm very happy to see videos like this and marketing like this be in RC.
Yeah. Well, the Racecraft guys, chasing the guys are crazy and wild anyway, and I love it. Flamingos for everybody. So shout out to
Yeah.
them. Hey, there's a coupon code attached to them too. It's called NNRC Squad if you guys want to get yourself something. And you know what? Hey, Daiquiri man, if you're listening to this, get in contact with me. I've got your flamingo pink hat autographed by Cole Ogden for you. If you ain't gonna take it, I'm gonna take it for myself at DNC. So let me know. All right. Let's see. Any more news before we go on? Move on. Not really. Nothing that really catches my eye. You know, there are some races and stuff like that, but nothing too serious. Some VP Pro tires. Yeah. Oh wow.
Actually, one thing I actually wanted to, this sort of a very, very far-fetched speculation, but I saw, can't remember his name, but a UK driver for Nemo. He was testing the Agama concept car. I believe he might be involved in the designing of it.
Mhm.
And he commented on Facebook that it like the process is like going forwards, which to
Mm.
me implies that we actually might see that car reach production at some point. And yeah, I think that's very interesting. Wonder if the Gamma team will run that car in the Worlds or Euros or the UK Nationals coming up this year, or will they stick to the old car and keep developing until going forwards? But yeah, to me, it would be very odd if they don't run it at Worlds, because that just tells me it's not as good as the car they have now.
Mm. Well, I think Billy should have it soon, I guess, over in America, and he has the track that he builds that he can test it out on as well. So,
Yeah,
we
that's
shall
interesting.
see.
Maybe have Billy on when he gets the car to talk about it.
Maybe. I really just want to get Hazelwood on, but he just refuses. Like, I really just want to get his story out there. I think John Hazelwood looks like a 1980s porn director with his shades, with his glasses.
I was wondering if you're gonna say it like that, but yeah, exactly.
I think he looks cool. Like he's got the
He
shades
looks
on,
cool.
and
Yeah, I like
it's just like
it.
he gives zero forks. You know, like I really want to get
Yeah.
him on her because he has an interesting story. He has a very interesting story. All right, Max. I don't really have any more stuff to talk about. I think it's time to go on and talk about what we really came here to talk about, and that was the SIC race. So this week's race recap is brought to you. NNRC race recap is brought to you by TNR Fuels. Here at the NNRC, we are all about that glory, and the glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest fuel on the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family. Made by racers for racers. TNR Fuels is currently available throughout the USA, and he's working on its international distribution, so give him some time. For more information to support the company or purchase some fuel, go to www.tnrfuels.com or contact Chris Nelson directly at chris@tnrfuels.com, or you can find them on House of RC or Facebook. And don't worry, guys, I know all you guys who won fuel, it's going to come out. I know he's been super busy. He has his TNR race coming up this weekend. And wow, he is giving away so much stuff. He's giving away like pit bikes and generators. And dude, he put so much money into this race and giving, I think, cash payouts, everything. So we have the TNR race taking place, TNR A Main Challenge taking place at Thunder Alley this weekend. So be good to see how that goes. We also have the Nats warm up this weekend too. So yeah.
Interesting to see how many people go. I think obviously Mayfield will go because it's in Arizona, but
Yeah.
Will Cavalieri be there? Maybe Fend? Don't know.
Maybe they should be
it
there.
might, to me, I mean, I would be surprised to see TLR join this because they skipped SIC. So.
Well, Fenn was supposedly out in West Coast this weekend testing. So that was, that focus is DNC.
I wonder why TLR does this, because they did this a few years ago as well, I think. They skip these sort of big opening races and do DNC testing, and then they show up at DNC and
maybe they're testing out that new car, man, making some changes to that new car.
Yeah, I wonder when they release it, because it's very obvious that they have a new car and everyone pretty much knows it at this point. A lot of people knows how it looks, how it is. I even have heard some gossip about it. And I wonder when they will actually release it, because it started to be maybe too long now. I think the people who run the old car are getting a bit maybe.
Oh, that's a good reason a lot of people left too. To be honest, like regional drivers, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was.
All right. So we're here to talk about the Southern Indoor Championships. Now, this is the 10th iteration of this with Race Time. They took over this race, I believe, from Alan Burton and a couple other guys back in the day. But there's been many. Like, I think this first race started maybe 2008. Don't quote me on that. But Race Time has had it for 10 years. This is their first race of their, 5? So they have this, they have PMB, Wicked Weekend, Southern Nats, AM. So 5 races they have yearly. First of their arena races. One of the smaller tracks as well. Believe it or not, it's always cold here. So, yeah, good stuff. So this is kind of like the first big race of the year for these guys. These guys are shaking off the Christmas cobwebs, all the Christmas puddings, as they would say in England, and all the New Year's alcohol being shook off and getting back to racing. Now, a few of these guys were at CRCRC, and a few of these guys might have went to like DNC warm-up. Ty Tessman was there. So, but this is the first big shebang, and it didn't disappoint, man. I mean, I know we don't count entries here, but we have to say, you know how many entries it was? Hold on, where's my entry thingy?
It was 340 people and 570.
Actually, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. It was 268 bodies, 569 people. Because one of my New Year's resolutions this year, people, is to stop people from considering entries as people. Oh, there was 560. It was 569 people there. No, there was 268 people there.
Yeah.
Drivers. Of course, there was more people. Let's say 350 at the most with families and stuff like that. But good turnout. 3-day race though. So long days, 18-hour days, stuff like that. Not my cup of tea, but people like it and they were there. So I think we should start out with the track first. Maybe I'll bring up some racing here and we can look at the track while we talk about this. But let's give you a synopsis on the track, Max. So you can go ahead. I'm going to bring up some of the racing here so we can see.
So actually, layout looked very fun. Looking at the very first videos, jumps very difficult in a lot of sections, like the triple in the back. Hearing from people who drove on the track, apparently about 25% of the track was blind spots, which sadly not that surprising, but yeah, obviously not ideal. I really like the 8-pack. I wish he sort of switched because every single jump was pretty much the same. I wish he did some jumps different heights, so you would actually have to have some kind of rhythm and timing, because now we're just keeping the same through all of the 8. But even that being said, I still like to have these long rhythm straights. Well, okay, so we have actually moving cameras. So this back section I really like, but this triple, to me, jumps like this are always like, you can see people not going for it and then jumping on top of each other. The very short runner, like very short acceleration and then a huge triple, especially one that shoots very high up, so it's very hard to judge the landing. These type of jumps I personally don't really like on tracks. Washboard section on the right hand side of the track, to be honest, never been a fan, never seen a very good one of those. So not a huge fan. Apart from those two, I think the track was really cool. In terms of like corners and stuff, nothing like just 90s, 180s pretty much. Now going into the surface of the track, hearing from people who were there, it was slightly dusty on the outside, not as bad as AMS, but then people said it was medium grip or some even like higher grip, and looking at the main, it was crazy bumpy. So huge amount of bumps on the track, And to me, this is the worst possible combo, which is a track that's very technical, very hard jumps, and then medium grip, and still a lot of bumps with dust on the outside. So you have to run a tire that works in the groove, but then it's very bad on the dust. But then you have to avoid the bumps, so you have to go out the line a bit. So yeah, this type of track is like it proved in Maine that it's very hard to drive even for the top guys. Like Rivkin couldn't keep it on two wheels for 2 laps in a row, and well, Mayfield kept it on four wheels, but it looked very tough. Let's put it that
Okay,
way.
so a little bit about this race. It's pretty much snowed there, so it got
Yeah,
super dusty because all
yeah,
that cold just sucks out all the moisture. The triple, I get what you mean. It kind of just is in an awkward place too, but it looked fairly
yeah.
easy to do.
Well, well, if you're alone, but driving with 3, 4 cars around you, it's very difficult. Like you saw at the start, these people just were like jumping
Hmm.
on top of each other, and that's the bad part about it because you might just get unlucky about it. It's a big luck factor involved as well.
I'm gonna tell you
When
what
you're
I
on the
think was
car.
the. I think I really like the rhythm section here on this in the
Yeah,
front, but
yeah. I
that was
wish
so
he
hard
switched
to
it up.
do. You know,
I
it was.
wish I wish he had like, let's say you have the first double, then you have like a shorter one that jumps low, then you have
Mm.
like, let's say a tabletop or something, and then you end with a double again. Now it's just the same rhythm all the time, and if you miss one, you're gonna miss all of them because you
Well,
can't really accelerate up again.
well, I wish he would
So
have put the first double closer instead of having that single right out of the corner. So you could have like that single right there, and then you could have just it would have just been double, double, double.
yeah.
But to be honest, I watched Mayfield late in the main struggle with this too. You know what I mean? Just
Oh
getting his
yeah,
rhythm through
and
there.
the thing is like people over jump it. Like you can see here, a
Mm.
lot of people jump to the next phase, and there's a huge bump even there. So if the jump spaces were good, it would probably be rather easy. But as the jump faces break up, it's getting harder and harder for these guys. And yeah, I think uh, I don't think this track was not even close to being one of the best of Bobby's, or very very far away from being best that I can think of. But an average track by Bobby, I think. And
I think the rhythm section saved it, to be
the
honest, because
rhythm
it's something we
section,
haven't seen.
yeah, I think this is
And
the only sort of positive for the future about this track. Something that, oh, I remember this thing about this track, and I think he had like for the next time he does it, I wish he does something that kind of switches it up a bit,
mhm,
so it's actually more rhythm. That's the only critique I have about it. I think Joey does this really well when he does it, but he usually does triples, not doubles.
mhm.
So triples are a bit different. It's a bit it jumps a bit lower, generally a bit longer as well. So
All right,
so
I
yeah.
want to add something too. I think that this was probably the hardest straightaway I've ever seen on an RC track.
Oh, for
It
sure.
was so rough at the beginning. I mean, did you see? That's how Brandon Rose broke. We'll get to that,
Yeah,
but you know, just to see these pros making these type of mistakes on the straightaway, and what it is, I just think it just gets so narrow where pit lane comes out, and guys just are just trying to get as much speed out of that corner, and you know, it's so rough coming on entry onto that straightaway. But I did like the end. And the one person that was doing this line, and I thought it was so great, was Cole Ogden. He would come flying down the straightaway and then go extremely wide into the end and go right up into the
mhm.
fluff, fling up some roost, and just burp, you know, like just like look so great. And it was so fast. Like he just avoided all those ruts and just went on the outside and just burp, you know. That
Yeah,
when I watched his
yeah,
B main, he was really good at that. So yeah, I kind of get it. I mean, I guess it got rough. So maybe at the end of the day, it was better to have this type of track. But yeah, the rhythm section, I don't know why. The rhythm section for me is what saved it. And but it was rough too. So really rough. And yeah, I guess I think also that this track has 12 feet of dirt underneath it too. So
oh wow, so that's a
yeah,
lot.
so there's plenty of room to go elevation and stuff like her, and I think
Yeah, so I
so.
wonder why he doesn't didn't do it then, because most tracks don't have that opportunity. So
I don't know. I mean, I'm quite happy with with the track. It's not perfect, but for me, the rhythm section just made it fun. I thought it was gonna be super easy, but then I just saw people like struggling with it, like
Yeah,
even top
the
guys.
the grip compared with the combined with the bumps, it's
Yeah,
it made it
I think
hard.
so. I think so. So I do like that. I do like the rhythm section. I just didn't like that single right there. You know, like you just have a single, like make that part of the double. Like let's make it a double. But hey, I'm not. I think the people that went there liked it. So I guess that's what matters in the end. All right. So I guess we have to show some love. Let's show some love to E-Buggy and Truggy, because when I made my post today, everybody's like, "What about E-Buggy and Truggy?" And I was like, "Well, here it is, people. I mean, E-Buggy and Truggy are cool. I like them, but they're kind of like filler classes. And I'll be honest, it's a world year, and we kind of look at. And I swear, if you ask most of these guys, these guys, they will tell you that Nitro Buggy is what they worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing is, like, if you go to a track day with Mayfield or Cavalieri or Rivkin or anyone for that matter, they maybe test out their e-buggy for one run. Maybe they tune the truggy for a few tanks, and the rest of the day they run Nitro Buggy. So if these guys put 90% of their effort in Nitro Buggy, we're gonna put 90% of our interest in Nitro Buggy. I
Yeah,
think it's very simple in that sense.
I think if we said, all right, let's combine, like if they did a combined and say, okay, we take the combination of E-Buggy, Truggy, and Ding and see who wins, then great. But we don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like the Reedy race where you take 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive and you get, just period. So we don't. So
It's
unfortunately.
it's kind of like saying, oh, why didn't you talk about four-wheel drive short course track at the ENATs? Like, obviously we're not going to talk about it. It's like, yeah, it's a class, people compete in it, but and mostly the same guys compete in it, but if you don't put effort into it like you do to Nitro Buggy, I don't see why we would sort of take it at the same level of it.
So yeah, people, it's not to say that we don't care about E-Buggy and Truggy. I do, It's just
I didn't even watch them.
Yeah, Max and I did. I didn't watch Truggy because I was picking up my wife, but I have to go back and watch it. But yeah, I guess we have to touch on it, because these guys did run it and it's still part of their program. So let me find it actually. Let's look at qualifying first, Max, and see how qualifying went for Truggy. So qualifying for Pro Nitro. Well, let's look at E-Buggy. Pro. Well, we know that Mayfield just swept everything. So Mayfield went 3 for 3 in TQs, and then we had Spencer Rifkin, Tyler Jones, Ty Tessman, Bornhorst, Pavitas, Rose, Tebow, Hooks, Mason Fuller, Jackson Brunson, Jared Wiggins. I think those guys went straight through. And I believe, actually, let's go to full results. So, I believe that the bump guys were Seth Van Dalen and who bumped? Yeah, see who bumped. Hold on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that Tessman won I think this was a bit silly. They
Yeah.
ran 2 e-buggy mains and they only counted one, and then the tiebreak was the result. So Mayfield finished first in the first one, third in the second one. Tessman finished second in the first one, won the second one, and Mayfield won it because his first run time was better, and the track was obviously a lot better at that time. The second main was run like 11 p.m. or something crazy at night. So yeah, I mean, that's one more reason to not watch E-Buggy.
Yeah, it was a late night, dude. I was up at 11:30 struggling to watch Nitro Main last night. Yeah, I did not get that. I mean, Mayfield had a third and a 1, and Tessman had a 1 and a 2, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't get that, and a lot of people were questioning that. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I understood why. I understood the format, but I don't understand why they did it that way.
Right.
I mean, why didn't they just count both?
I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't care.
Anyway, Ty Tessman second, Tyler Jones third. He'd be happy with that. Rivkin, medium fourth. Bornhorst would be happy with a top 5 on his new ride. And number 1 HB guy of E-Buggy, Ryan Maifield, who I have to say impressed me a lot this weekend. Impressed me a lot. So there we go. Mayfield wins E-Buggy and does it in somewhat controversial fashion because we're not, the way the scoring was done, I guess. So it kind of is what it is. Should we go to
no one will remember that anyway. So because of
Jesus,
the fact
man.
that
The
he won.
hate for E-Buggy is so intense.
No, you don't get. It's not hate. It's just that like that's not what we're here for. It's like the people saying like, oh, you just like F1 and don't want Porsche Cup at all. Like have your Porsche Cup, but I like F1 because it's F1. Nitro Buggy is the first class. You can run E-Buggy.
Yeah, it is.
Fine.
As long as they don't have a worlds for them. So, it's kind of, if you don't have a worlds, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and the thing is, like in Europe,
like that.
In Europe, like the UK is probably the only country that even runs Truggy.
Well, I think Portugal does too.
Okay, well, good trick. Okay, Portugal and UK.
All right, so
Okay,
let's go on to
now
Truggy
to the
anyway.
real deal. Nitro Buggy.
No, we have to talk about Truggy. We didn't even talk about Truggy. Max.
Oh, I thought
Take
we
it
did
easy.
Truggy already.
You're getting excited. We didn't even talk about Truggy.
Oh, okay.
So where is the Truggy?
Well, let's talk about Truggy a bit. I think now every single brand has gone to the very nice 7th scale buggy style.
I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of it.
I'm a huge fan of it for 2 reasons. Now I can finally design just one body and stretch it out and use it for buggy and Truggy. And also what I like about it is now the cars actually jump quite nice. So it's actually, you can make sort of a large scale buggy class, which I actually am very excited about. And super excited to make and be part of making the Mayako Truggy. I think this brings me more excited in the Truggy class because now every time I drive a Truggy now, I can remember that, hey, it's almost like my buggy, just bigger.
So are you saying you're excited about Truggy, dude?
Yeah, actually now I am because they don't look like Truggies anymore. It's like a big buggy.
Okay. Well, let's look at qualifying for Nitro Truggy. So obviously the man, he swept that too. Ryan Maifield, Seth Van Denen, good qualifying result for him. He had he won one round, it looks like. He had a 3 and a 0 and a 30. And then Jared Tebow in third. He had a 5, 2, and a 2. Spencer Rivkin. Man, Spencer had a good weekend. Very good weekend. And Ryan Lutz putting the Kyosho Truggy in 5th. Very good Truggy positioning for Lutz. Tyler Jones, Mason Fuller came out swinging by TQ in the first round of Truggy. At all, which was really good in his new HB ride. Joe Bornhorst, 8th. Ty Tessman. Ty Tessman would want to be better than 9th on Truggy.
Yeah, he was a bit off all weekend. He was there, but a bit off.
Mm-hmm. Jared Wiggins in 10th. Cole Ogden. Cole Ogden should be up in top 5, I think. Very off weekend for Cole in qualifying, to be fair.
I'm starting to think that this is just his level at this point. Like, because like since Nats, like his best result is like, I don't even know, like maybe the 4th he got or 5th he got in Nitro Buggy. It's like it's not like since Nats and since DNC last year, he really hasn't had the results that like that. So maybe
I agree with you.
Maybe those like I'm starting to think those 2 were just flukes. Like like to be honest,
that's
like,
pretty bad, Max.
It's like if he doesn't show up with more results, it's starting to feel like that. Obviously, he had a good showing at the DNC warm up, so I think
but the competition level at the DNC warm up was low.
Tessman was there.
Tessman and Cav.
Cavalieri was there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see both of those in top 5 at the actual race.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're gonna talk about Cole because he's in my gray area this weekend. And I just have to mention this because I thought I have to give Pit Dad Pit Stop of the Week goes to Jeremy Caston and Cole Caston. Dude, you have to see this guy's his son.
I saw another pit stop.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't know if we should talk about that one because that's my buddy, but we'll say it. I told him already. He's internet famous.
I like the guy too, but the video was funny. It happens to all of us at some point.
I know. So what happened is Jeremy Caston, this car jumped like he was pitting very close. I'd say about 5 feet from the up part, the entrance of the ramp to pit lane, and this guy jumped, and his car was just about to hit the ground. And his dad just went, "I can't do it because I need my left hand," but basically went smack. And like the car just stopped, like boom, and he just, as he was pulling it in, he was putting fuel in it, and I don't think he even put the car on the like on the stand. I was like, this guy must have massive hands in order to do this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially like Chuggy. Like if he was buggy, I'd be like, okay, but Chuggy's heavy. That's insane. Yeah,
yeah. So he was able to do this, fuel this. I think that pit actually helped Cole bump. You know, because it got him in position. It was so fast.
Yeah,
and then
he finished very high up in the main as well, I think.
Let's see. I have it here. So
someone said he went very well in the main.
All right. But just to know, your bump ups into that were Aiden Horn, Lee Satzer, and Cole Caston. Now, Aiden Horn had a very quiet Aiden Horn would want to forget about this year's SIC, I think. But Cole-Caston actually finished sixth. So shout out to him. He's definitely a truggy guy.
Yeah, sixth is yeah. But he's a techno driver. So this is also something I wanted to say that Seth, you said he TQ'd around. Tebow finishing second, not far off from Mayfield. And Caston with a sixth. That for him, that's a brilliant result. So I think this shows that the techno truggy actually, like, they have actually designed a truggy, not like the other brands who just make some longer arms and call it a truggy. I think it shows really, because they are very, very strong in truggy and have been for a while. And now with a strong team, they have the results. Like last year, it was Tebow and Bornhorst. Like Tebow won, was it at AMS or Southern Nats or one of these race time races? Well, Tebow has been very good in truggy.
So let's go through our top five here. Mayfield, Tebow, Mason Fuller, great result for him. Great result fourth for Lutz. I'll give that to him. A great result for Joe Bornhorst, fifth. Cole-Caston, sixth. Jared Wiggins, a solid performance. I'm going to even say eighth is a great performance for Jackson Brunson. My biggest losers of this, I want to say Aiden Horn, but he had to bump in. Spencer Rifkin in 10th. Ty Tessman in 12th. Tyler Jones, a stinker, didn't finish, it looks like. Cole Ogden didn't finish after 20 minutes. Sure, the rear arm of his car crashing into pit lane. And Seth Van Dalen out after only 5 minutes and 43 seconds. So, unfortunate for those guys, but I'm going to say something. And this is leading to why I think this was a big win for Joe Bornhorst. Joe Bornhorst beats all those techno guys that were vying for his job at techno. There we go. I said it.
Okay. You know, one thing actually I want to say is the fact that you said the Cole broke in the pit entry. We also saw that in the buggy main with Brian Rose breaking in there. I think, I don't know why they do this, but at least most of the race time events, they don't have a pipe coming into the pit lane. It's just the pit lane, and there's like no divider.
So you're saying the pipe should go down longer?
The pipe should go down to the start of the straight. Because this is exactly what happens, and it's not just that the cars break. Like imagine someone goes wide, keeps it pinned, and the car flies up the pit lane, hits someone.
Or I think they should
or whatever.
You know what they should put on that pit lane? They should put, I don't know if they have it, but they probably do, about plywood. So at least you hit the plywood, and you can bounce off of that. You know what I mean? It's just but it's just a narrow. It makes it so narrow there. Yeah,
but the fact that the pit lane is just open like that. Like the risk of a car going wide and jumping into the pit lane and actually hitting someone is very high, and I wouldn't be surprised if that has some happen at some point. So yeah, this is something I really would like to see change. because this is not like a one-off. It's almost all the races I've seen recently have had it like this.
All right. So I want to say for me, Mayfield killed it again. Tebow not too far off pace. Fuller, Lutz, and Bornhorst and Kasten, my big winners of this. You know, outside of the actual winner. So yeah.
But before we go into buggy, I want to say that Mayfield got off quite easy this weekend. Like I think he got a bit lucky even. He swept all three classes, but in e-buggy, Tessman had better points if you count it that way. He got lucky that the system was this way. Same thing. Well, we're going to buggy later on that maybe he wasn't the strongest one in buggy either. Strongest but not the fastest. And in truggy, Tebow was catching up to him in the end. So this is not like DNC last year. This is not like Silver State last year.
Yeah, I agree. It's dominant, but not as dominant as we think it.
Yeah,
it thinks it is.
The results look better than what happened, I think.
Yeah. Well, Mayfield TQ'd this. Well, let's go into Pro Nitro Buggy because Nitro is the glory and Buggy has a Worlds. And I'm not saying that e-buggy and truggy shouldn't have a Worlds. They should. So
truggy maybe not, but e-buggy for sure. Yeah.
Max says, well, e-buggy should definitely because it's growing.
No, but the truggy, why would truggy have a Worlds if there's 3 countries in the world who run it?
I agree with you, Max.
In Western world. In Asia and in Australia, they run truggy.
Well, you know what? You guys just need to run truggers. Get over it. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, spend a lot more money on tires and stuff.
Yes, there you go.
Run another class.
Mayfield TQs this in 2 rounds. Spencer Rifkin beat him in the 3rd round. Spencer Rifkin was fast in that 3rd round, dude. He was fast. The track was blown out. He kind of just was a little bit slower than his 2nd round. His fastest round, obviously, of the day was his 1st round where he finished 3rd. Jared Tebow, a 2, a 5, and a 3. Tyler Jones showing some promising pace with a 7 and a 3. And then Tessman hanging around there in 5th with a 4th and a 6. And Lutz too. Lutz was in there for 6 and a 5, so it was very promising. Jared Wiggins, Seth Van Dalen, Ryan Pavitas in a decent... Ryan Pavitas is, once again, the top HB driver going into the final with
Ryan
Mason Fuller behind him.
To me, what Ryan showed the best, not even going into the main, but what Ryan showed this weekend was that he is there. Like, it's not like Roar Nats, he just scraped into the main thanks to the DQ. Good, he had a great Roar Nats, but still, like, he got slightly lucky to make it in the main. And some other race he made the Amen in last year was a good race from him, but still, like, those were just like first time he has that sort of good performance. This race, I think he made the A in every single class, finished rather high up, was always there, like comfortably in the A, no hassle, no nothing. So this is a very good showing. This shows that what he has now, this should be his level. And now it's the only way is up, really.
Yeah. Mason Fuller, he had to pull one out of his ass too, no offense. He had a 13, a 17, and a 6. So that just got him in 10th. And Bornhorst had to pull a miracle out. He had a 5th, and then he had a 23 and a 16, but still managed 11th. And then Brandon Rose, 12, 16, and a 9. Now, the big surprise here was Cole. Cole had a 10, a 31, and a 14. So, now, the bump ups from this race were Cole, Ogden, Jackson Brunson, and Aiden Horn. Now, Cole got out and won his B-man convincingly, you know, and he was doing that ultimate line where he was going right on the outside, and, you know, he was just, I think him and Aiden had a good battle, and even Jackson at some point. But Cole bumping up from the B-man, in my opinion, and people aren't going to like this, but Cole Ogden should not be in the B-man, in my opinion, as now new number 1 HB driver. He shouldn't be there. He should have been, this is like, Cole lives in this area, like lives in the southeast. Like, this is He's been to this race year after year after year after year. You know what I mean? This is the type of race that Cole Ogden should be dominating, in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
the
I
thing.
mean?
That's why I said what I said earlier, that like maybe those good results really, it's like when it fits him, and this
Mhm.
is his like regular level.
Well, I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying.
I do
Because
think that the bump
AMS,
helped him, though.
it did, but like AMS, it was exactly the same story. Uh, like he was in the B, bumped from the B. A lot of races he's had this same. So I think he needs sort of he needs to be in the like have the momentum going for him.
Hmm.
Like he has had, like every time he runs the B, he almost always has very convincing B final wins, which is not very good of an achievement. But like when he wins, when he drives good, he drives good. So maybe he needs to find a groove like he does during these B mains.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is for Cole, but I will say this: he pulled off a 5th place out of this, and he had to work his ass off for it. And in that sense, I did not see the Cole, I'm all the way starting in the back. You know, I'm gonna blow out. He made his way up to the front, and he finished a respectable 5th. He pulled this one out of his ass to finish as the number 1 HB driver, in my opinion, this week. But right behind him was Ryan Pavidis, man. Right behind him was Ryan Pavidis, and you know he was 6.3 seconds off, cool, but you know, and his hot lap was a little bit off, cool. You know what I mean? Not too much, but Ryan Pavidis was, for me, the most impressive out of the HB guys this weekend.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that like, but this is like Ryan Pavidis has never been a guy. Like if you look at any race he goes to, even when he finished 5th at, can't remember which race it was, but one race he had round 5th. Maybe it was the Nats, but like even then, like his best lap is always a lot slower than the competition. He drives very consistent. He has his pace. He checks his laps and does that, and that's one of his very high strengths. And during the whole main, he kept his pace up. He kept there 5th, 6th, and ended up finishing 6th. So yeah, to me, Pavidis looks like considering that Cole gets quite a lot of money for doing this, and Ryan maybe get some travel help. Yeah.
Oh,
This
and
is
Ryan just
definitely a
come off
great
of he
weekend
just
for Ryan.
completely came off of a pillow bowl car and driving a C Hub car, and is,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think that's a big issue, like the C
mhm.
Hub pillowball thing for him, because it's easier to go this way than the other way. I'd say.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure. Second race with a new car. First race was the DNC warm up for him, and already finishing this high up, it's and against Cole, like what it was 7 seconds off for something very small. Yeah, it's a superb result for him.
All right, so let's just go through the
So let's
lineup here. Let's
should
just
we
go through the
before I say anything about Mayfield, I want to say something about Rivkin,
All right, before
because
we do that, let's just go over the
okay,
top, the positions here of the main. So in the final result, after 30 minutes, Ryan Mayfield wins, Spencer Rivkin, Jared T-Bone second, Ty Tessman fourth, Cole Ogden fifth, Pavidis sixth, Bornhorst seventh, Van Dalen eighth, Mason Fuller ninth, Tyler Jones 10th, Wiggins 11th, Ryan Lutz 12th, Aiden Hoare 13th, Bronson 14th, and Brandon Rose unfortunately breaking on his straightaway and finishing 15th. But to be fair, Brandon Rose started at the back, and the highest he got up to was 9th at some point. And you know, yeah,
well, that was just
unfortunately,
before it broke.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so, all right, who do we want to? Okay, so
So
do we want to tackle?
I want to start on Rivkin.
Okay, let's talk about the
Because I
race.
think
Let's talk about the start real quick, because
okay,
I know what you're going to talk
watched
about,
it, Keenan.
huh?
People watched it.
Okay, all right, go ahead. You talk about Tebow. I mean, you
So
talk about Rifkin.
I'll say I'll say this stuff about Rivkin, then we can talk about race, because this puts all of this into context.
Okay, go ahead.
So during the past year, we have seen Rivkin that every single race he goes to, he can be up there and he can be fighting. And he has every single race he has showed that he can dominate second place. So this is sort of his thing. He's fast, he's up there, but he always finishes second. Every single race.
He does
you're
finish
mute.
third. He finished third a lot
Okay.
last year.
But he's dominating second place. And I don't know what it is, but I think it's just nerves because he had the better car of the two, Mayfield and Rivkin, who were the top two fighting for almost the whole main. And to me, this race wasn't that much won by Mayfield, but lost by Rivkin. Obviously, if it was Fend against Rivkin, yeah, Rivkin wins that. Like Fend was the speed of Mayfield, and it was Fend versus Rivkin. I'd say Rivkin wins that any day of the week. But Mayfield has the mental strength to keep it up. But Rivkin, like, this should have been Rivkin's win. This should have been a race where he says, no number two anymore.
Mhm.
So now there's I think now the monkey on the back just growing on him. That's what I would say, if
Okay.
there is one.
I actually have something to add to that. I think right now, the only person that can outright beat Ryan Maifield in America is Dakota Fan.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that Ryan Maifield has all his opponents in America shook. Like they have lost this race before they even get there. Now,
Yeah.
I will go back to who and as a co-host, and I like him and all that there, and I know I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this race. Jared Tebow. So when Jared Tebow and I think it was Rivkin, or maybe it was Tasman kind of broke out in the beginning. It was Rivkin, Tebow, and Mayfield. They broke out.
Mayfield led, and Tebow was second for, let's say, the first 5 minutes. But then
Right.
Rivkin was actually in third, close to Tebow. And then
Exactly.
suddenly he passed Tebow. Mayfield made a mistake, and Rivkin was actually in the lead coming into the first pit stops, I believe.
So I just want to say this. Now, I was watching Tebow, and Tebow is multi-time world champion. He's won this race before, you know. And I watched him get on the tail of Mayfield, and Mayfield just be able to give it some more and just be like, see you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that it just like he's just you can see that Tebow was trying his best to get up to him and get past him, and when he got there, like I was just like, oh man, even though I wanted Tebow to win, I was like, yeah, I want Tebow to win, because I think he deserves it, right? But
yeah, but
I just think it also. Can let me just finish? I think it comes
Okay.
down to it comes down to Mayfield just mentally strong right now with this. He's so confident in his package. This is a Southeast race. JC tires are going to be good, period. It's going to be hard to beat JC in these type of indoor races in their home in their backyard. And Mayfield's just a beast, and he's just beating these guys before they even show up. And I'm going to be honest with you. Without Dakota Fender, there was nobody to really, because that's who pushes Mayfield, I think, in America. Because Fender goes out there and just flies and gets DQs and all this stuff.
Yeah,
So-
but I think you're 100% correct in that. But what I said earlier about Mayfield sort of just edging this weekend out, even though he swept, like
some chink in the armor.
it's like this is like he got a bit lucky because you don't see anybody catch up Mayfield. You saw Rivkin catch up Mayfield. You saw Tebow trying to catch up Mayfield. Obviously, that really worked out. But I think Tebow finishing third, actually being somewhat competitive in the start, shows that he's actually stepped up his game as well.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And,
I agree.
So
I
Mayfield was definitely maybe not feeling the pressure, but he had to sort of like, he must have been at some point like, oh, I actually have to drive here. Like it's not just domination.
I agree with you. It's kind of like in Europe where Ongaro is like winning everything, and he's the guy. He's kind of everybody's chasing him at these races, and now it's turned to everybody's just chasing Mayfield, and well earned. But it wasn't as clean cut or dominant as we've seen. Now that might just be the first race of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I'd say I'd put it into that. Like, I think he was just sort of warming up. I think.
And it got extremely cold at this race, and that threw people for a loop as well. But Rivkin
but after the
he
start,
looked great.
like actually the thing about Rivkin that really helped him was, I don't know if I guess Saxon was pitting for him, but his pit stops were way faster than Mayfield's, like over a second every single pit stop.
And you know whose pit stops were slow? Tessman's.
Tessman? Ooh.
Tessman's pit stops were very slow. Gord is not the fastest gun in the West anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Pit stops have gotten a lot quicker. But continuing on Rivkin, he got a lot of advantage on the pit stops. And one time he actually passed Mayfield over the pit stops. And at one point, I think it was like around 10 to 15 minutes in, around the second pit stop, Rivkin was looking like he's gonna run away with this. And then just I don't want to say he blew out, but something happened where he just couldn't keep it together, like clipping the pipes, flipping over where he actually shouldn't, like the easy parts of the track. Mayfield caught up, got to inside. Rivkin just kept it pinned, jumped to the inside pipe, like silly mistakes, like just nervous, like. And then he fell back a bit, and Mayfield then on it looked like a pure Mayfield domination. But what makes me say that this was Rivkin's race was that he actually caught up again. He had the lead again after that. Mayfield had a gap. Rivkin caught up, got by, had the lead for a while, and yet still Mayfield ended up winning this. So that's why the fact that Rivkin actually had the speed to catch up again tells me that he was a lot faster than Mayfield. And looking at the laps, Rivkin could do the fast laps much more often than what Mayfield could. But when it came down to those side-by-side situations, I think Rivkin was just too nervous, tried too hard, tried too much, couldn't know where to lift, where to attack again. And whereas Mayfield executed that perfectly. Every time he got close to Rivkin, everything he did was perfect. Then when he was driving alone, he made a lot of mistakes. And like you could see the washboard section, he was one of the slowest guys.
Oh, Rivkin was so fast through there.
Yeah, Mayfield was not that good, and Rivkin was very fast over that section every single time around. And yeah, that's why I say that this should have been Rivkin's race. And maybe this is just the beginning of the year. This is sort of his first stance. Next race he's gonna be fast again. Who knows? But yeah, for sure, this should have been Rivkin's win.
Also, remember, excuse me, Mayfield missed a lap or missed the loop as well. So if you I guess that must have been in the crash.
I think he got caught in the Brandon Rose incident, but I'm not sure.
That was. I'm surprised more people didn't break getting caught up in that incident.
And the marshal, he was in the middle of the track, two cars coming full speed, and just barely jumped over the car. So that was a huge situation.
I agree there. I would agree there. All right, so let's look at some more people. So
what about Tessman?
All right, so let's talk about Tessman. Now, I had Tessman as a loser. Now, people might be like, "Well, why do he finished fourth? Why do you have him as a loser?" Well, because I think Tessman is at that caliber racer where he can win these races. He can beat Mayfield. I think he should. Yeah. And here's what I think it comes down to. Tires, man. Just tires. When you're on that pro line, Robert, now you're on hot race. I just think
it could be.
I just think if you're not on JC at this race, it's you had a disadvantage anyway. Now, if this race is outside of DNC, I'm not too worried about it. You know what I mean? But for Tessman, this would be fourth would be being off, because this is another thing we're gonna get straight this year. Podiums are 3 people, not 5. Yeah. So, but at these races, there are 5 people.
Podium.
So
even though you get the picture, it's not a podium.
Yeah, Tessman would want to win. Like, people are like, well, that's fourth good. You got to understand the mentality of these guys is that they want to win. The difference between fourth and first in this is significant too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, not only
contingency.
Yeah, not only like I don't think Tesson really cares about if he makes 500 or
I don't either. It's about
2,500 from consistency, but the fact that he's a guy who gets this is his job, this is his
Mhm.
passion, and the fact that he is a world champion, he is I don't know how many time Raw national champion, and he is young, so he doesn't have that age excuse at all.
Mhm.
So I think,
He's not young. Well, he's probably almost 30 now, to be
well, but I
honest.
mean, yeah, he's 30, but it's still like he's
Mhm.
younger than Mayfield, and Mayfield's doing great. I think I'd say, like, I talked with someone after the race that, like, if you think of Cavalieri, he has had his peaks, had his lows, but can you think of a year where Mayfield has gone downhill? Because I really can't. Like, to me, it seems every single year Mayfield has been better and better and better. Especially in 8 scale. In 10 scale, maybe he has had off years, but in 8 scale for sure, he has been better every single year out.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that Tessman hasn't, like, since he switched from HB.
Mhm.
I haven't seen the same. Like, maybe it was the C hub. Maybe it was just that he, like, this is not something he can execute as consistently and not as in dominating fashion as he did at times with HB. And yeah, so I'd agree with him being a loser. Now, this is not an awful result for him. So this is something that is still not acceptable, but not awful.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's like, but yeah, it's this is like this like if this is his regular day, then it's not a then he's definitely a loser. But if this is his off day, then okay, I can accept it. But we'll see at the next big race he goes to if this is like, because if this is like, if he keeps at this level, then for sure something must change. Like setup, testing, or then go to a C hub car or something. But I don't think, like, he is a better driver than this for sure. And I don't
I
really
would have to
buy the
agree with you there.
tire. I don't buy the tire argument either, because look at the guys in fifth and sixth, both run hot race,
This is true.
and Pavidis, as fast as he is, and as good of as much praise as I've given him so far, uh, Pavidis shouldn't be 10 seconds down from Tessman with the same tires if the tires are the issue.
Mhm. I would have to say something is off in the Testament program, just a slight bit. Even though he won a race slasher, you know, and he, I think he was truly the only person that uh could
Mayfield and
test
Nats.
Mayfield at the Nationals. But
Mhm.
it's like it before. It was like, yeah, Testament will win. No, it's like, you know.
Yeah,
So
like the
it's
PNB
no
pick I
disrespect. Like,
did, like, now looks much more like seeing all the other results in 2021. Like the PNB pick I did of him winning was actually quite crazy that I got it right, because that it should have been very unlikely looking at all the other results, and that was the only race where he looked like him, like his old self.
all right. So I had Testament on as my biggest loser, which caused a lot of stir today. People didn't like me calling these guys the biggest losers. I'm not calling these guys losers. I'm just saying, coming out of the race, they're gonna sit there and contemplate their result. And here's what some people. Here's I want to make something real clear too. Somebody said, "Oh, just making a main is a win." I was like, "No, it's not. This is these guys' job." Back when the main was
Yeah.
10 people and you had only 8 went straight through and 2 bumped up. Yeah, it was a big deal. Now 12 people go straight through and 3 bump up. I'm cool with 15 car mains. Don't get me wrong, but it's not just good enough to make the main anymore. You gotta, you gotta get up there and do some things.
No, and if it's worlds and it's like
If
someone
it's
like Cole
Worlds,
Ogden,
DNE, Nationals, it's different.
yeah, it's different. But this is a race where, like, I'd say at least 5 of those guys in the main don't get paid.
Mhm.
So, like, like being in the top 10 is, that's like, okay, you're with your peers, and Testament should be on the high end of it. So fourth
Yeah.
is average at best.
All right. So let's touch on fifth, Cole Ogden. Cole Ogden is in my gray area. He saved his ass this weekend by getting this 5th place. But 1, he shouldn't have been in the B man, and 2, he should be winning or at least top 3, in my opinion. I just I want him to be. Maybe I should stop wanting him to be.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
that's what I'm thinking as well, because
Yeah.
I said before, like, maybe this is his level, and
But
I'm like, I
we've
want
seen him.
I
We've seen him,
that's the
Max. We've
thing,
seen
like,
him.
because
We've seen him go
he
so
has the
fast.
speed. Yeah,
We've seen him go so
but
fast.
maybe it's just that he needs the right
People,
circumstances we can execute that.
yeah, it's simple. If
I
he
don't
has
know.
David and Adrian around him, he's fucking fast. It's simple.
Yeah,
That's it.
like Manila in RCGP, or Thunder Alley at RCGP, or last year Nationals, DNC. Like, these are races where he shows that he can compete with David Ronnefalk and Ryan Mayfield and Ty Tessman on Tessman's good day.
Mhm.
And then he has results where he qualifies into the B and just scrapes the top 5. Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't really know. We
I
need to
don't
see
know
a bit
what the
more
issue
to
is,
be.
and
Yeah.
now as the number one driver, because I believe he is the number one driver at HB, is like getting a proper salary. Remember, I said this on the live. It's easy to be that second, third driver because you got somebody
Mhm.
like David Ronnefalk who's going to get those results. But when you have to become, this is where this is Cole's opportunity to become
Mhm.
like a superstar. He
Yeah,
can
this is his opportunity to become a Mayfield or a Cavalieri.
yes.
You know.
So he needs to take this opportunity. Uh Now I give him credit that he did not. We did not see the other. It's either you see the curl that dominates, or you see the curl that comes last. So he didn't do that. He came fifth. So he didn't completely blow out like sometimes that he's known to do. You know what I mean? We're not disrespecting Cole here. It's just he would he blows out. Like, you know what I mean? This is no joke. Everybody seen it happen. So maybe there's hope. Maybe we'll see. But you know what he has? He has Ryan Pavitas breathing on his neck. He has because look, I mean, let's just look how many HBs were in this. We had Cole Ogden, Pavitas, Mason Fuller, and Jackson Brunson.
Jackson Brown. Yeah.
All those, that's 4 HBs in this main. There wouldn't have been 4 HBs in this main last year. You know what I mean?
Oh, no
So
way.
he has his work cut out for him. Okay, so one of my biggest winners was Joe Bornhorst. I know you don't agree with this, or did you?
I wouldn't call it a winner. I'd say the biggest will take it.
Yo, I think Joe
know.
leaves this with well, first, I think Joe has finally embraced the average Joe thing because he says he wants to be average Joe number 1. Now, and
Yeah.
let's get something right. JQ will not even tie Joe Bornhorst's shoelaces right now. You know what I mean? Like, he can't even tie this guy's shoelaces and let alone beat him. I think for Bornhorst, this is confidence build. This is what he needed. Okay, it's 7th, but he's the number 1 S-Wax driver. Because Spencer Hecker didn't make it, man. Big loser for me. He beat all the guys that he had to fight that were fighting for his job at Techno. He beat them all besides Tebow. You know, Tebow is the statesman of Techno. So he beats all his ex-teammates so he wins. Like, for him, this is a win. I think this is a win for him. I think this is a good showing for S-Works. And I think he can take some, and he had a good showing in Nitro Truggy and a good show, decent showing in E-Buggy. So I think for Joe, he gets out of this. Yes, it's a 7th, but he goes from a car like different, from C-Hub to, you say it's not a big difference, C-Hub to Pillowball. Yeah, I think so.
That
Not
way
maybe,
around, I think it's worse.
maybe not having
like,
the big support network that he had at Techno either. You know what I mean? So I think this was a good result for Joe Bornhorst.
I think if we put it into the context of this is his first race with S-Works, then I think this is good, not great. Like, it's good. Next race, if he does the same, then it's and the next race after that, if he still does the same, then it's like, okay, now you got to step it up a bit, But if it's this the first race and a little bit better next race, then it's great. Like, that's what it should be. And I think I looked at the JC videos, posted videos of Bornhorst, and I saw I didn't film it, so that's probably the only thing I went off of. But even then, like, in the practice runs, his car looked very hard to drive. And talking to people who have since left S-Works but driven S-Works, fast drivers have said that the rear end is a bit iffy on the car, and that's
Okay.
exactly what I saw on Joe's car. And I think this is going to be, like I said, from pillowable to C-Hub, it's a pretty easy change because those cars are more neutral. C-Hub
Mhm.
cars are generally more neutral. C-Hub pillowable cars can have more steering in them, can have more corner speed if you tune them right, but the rear end is a bit iffy, and it S works with the super short arm. It has rear grip, but it's very sort of edgy and not that comfortable. So for him, coming from Techno, which is a very lazy car in looking at it geometrically. Uh, I think this is going to be the biggest challenge, getting used to the fact that the car actually turns the way it does, and
Mhm.
the rear end is the way it is. So if he gets one with it, if he gets sort of gets his in tune with the car, this is sort of a good start for that, I think.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, I have Spencer Heckert on as my biggest loser. He wasn't in the main. That's why Spencer Heckert usually makes these mains. So,
Oh yeah, and Brandon Rose was in, Jackson Bronson was in.
mhm.
Spencer Hackett should be beating both of these guys every day of the week, I think,
Yeah,
because
I
like
agree.
he like a few years ago he made mains already. Brandon Rose and Jackson Bronson just made their first big mains like last year. So
Well, Rose has
yeah,
been making mains for a while now. Just to
yeah,
let you know.
but 18 car mains. It's
Mhm. All right,
I get it, but
Mason
18 car
Fuller.
mains.
I think this is a neutral race for him. He kind of finished where he normally thought would finish with the TLR. I'm not too worried about Team Fuller. They'll get it right. Caden Fuller was really impressive this weekend. Doesn't race as much as his
Yes, I
his
think
elder brother, but I think that I still stand by my statement that Mason Fuller will be the top HB driver by the end of the year.
uh I I don't want to say I agree, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're right,
Mm-hmm.
because right now it seems like Pavidis is getting along with the car very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if he keeps improving, I know he's like super into RC right now. He's like putting everything into it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see even Ryan do it
Me neither.
if he keeps it up. Uh, Mason will be the obvious pick considering results last year. I think this weekend was just like things didn't just go his way. Like
Mm-hmm.
Tiku and Truggy the first round, then a few bad rounds, ended up finishing, was it third in Truggy?
Yeah.
Either way, in the top five. Like it's just like some things went his way, some things not. I think he'll get it right, as you said. But what you said about Caden, I think that's the biggest surprise.
Mm-hmm.
First big main for Caden, I think, at any race.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think he's made it before. I'm not sure. We have to go back and check. All right. I think he'll be a little bit disappointed, but he'll be happy because he was second, second overall techno driver. Seth Van Dalen, an eighth. I gave him at neutral.
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. He was just, the highest he got up to was seventh, sixth, fourth, second lap. It just wasn't his day. Tyler Jones. Now Tyler Jones is somebody that we kind of have to talk about. He now I know I like Tyler Jones, the dark horse, but he's another one that he's been given this opportunity. I believe he's like a professional. He's getting paid to do this to an extent. I could be wrong, but yeah, at some point he's gonna have to win. This year. No, this year he has to have a win. I
I don't
think.
think like okay, yeah, he maybe has to win, but I'd be happy to see him do like a few podiums in a row. Like because now it
Mm-hmm,
seems he has a really good race, then he's ninth. Then he
mm-hmm,
has a really good race, then he's 12th. It's like that's something that if like pro drivers don't do that. Like that's just how it should be. And yes, I still think the car is pulling him back a bit at times, but Tebow finished third. Tebow is
mm-hmm.
fast. So yeah, I think he should have been in the fight for fifth. Like seventh should be where Jones was finished, even in an off weekend.
Well, also I just want to say that he started fourth, and
Yeah.
on the third lap he was 12th. So he
Okay, but-
gathered himself. I think he just got way back there, and hard to dig yourself out of that hole, man. Very hard to dig yourself out of it on a small track like this too. Very hard to dig yourself out of that hole. So, but this is racing, and you're only as good as your last result. All right, Wiggins, I think he'd be happy. He would want better than 11th, but I think he can be happy with that. Ryan Lutz, the Kyosho man himself.
I think he had some issues. I don't think he finished without.
He flamed out. He flamed
Yeah.
out. So he flamed out. He was in 12th, but he flamed out on lap. Let's see. Do we have it here?
I think tracks like this don't really suit Lutz well because
But he's won her before, I believe.
no, but
Yeah, he had lap
okay,
27.
but I mean,
he had a flame
yeah,
out.
he has one at SIC, but this style because
Okay.
it's bumpy, it's medium grip, and it's very technical. Because Lutz is good at technical tracks, but he drives very aggressively. You can see like he slides the car a lot on tracks like this where there's bumps which you can clip it. No way you can slide the car like that comfortably. He had one of the fastest laps of the main, I think second or third fast lap. But he when he drives like that, it's very hard to execute it on a track like this, and then he has to tone it down, which slows him down, or then he has to make then he keeps it the same and makes a lot of mistakes. So I think this style of track where like this is the sort of worst possible style for him. I wouldn't be surprised seeing him very good at PMB because generally at PMB the dirt is more, it has more moisture, it keeps together better. So that's something I will want to look forward to. I think he can be very fast there. Why not DNC as well? Again, it's going to be bumpy, but it's a permanent track, so
I think he
most likely not
struggles
as bumpy as
nighttime
usually.
outdoor tracks. I think he struggles
Okay,
with.
yeah, that's
yeah.
true. That's true. He always says that. So yeah, that might hinder him there. So,
So
but
I just wanted to
I-
get people a little clear. I'm not look. Ryan Lutz is still a high caliber racer, but let's not act like this is probably his last chance right here. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
this is probably his. He's 38-ish. He's going to be 40 by the time this contract's up. I like people think he's going to rebirth Kyosho and all that type of stuff. I don't know if that's going to happen. From talking to him, it sounds like he's still going to be on his own at these races. So I know he probably left something. He had better than this. Maybe if he didn't have the flame out, it could have been a little bit better. But
yeah. I mean, he was ninth at one point before the flame
Yeah.
out. So he was probably gonna finish in the pack of where Jones and Wiggins and those other guys were in. But
he would want
it's-
better
it's
than
still
this.
Not good.
He would want
It's
better
still
than
not
this.
good. But I think Chuggy and Ibagi results were good. So that already shows that he's still driving wise, he's still there. It's just that track maybe not fully comfortable with the car yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
No, I just wanted to touch on one person who I thought was kind of disappointing after a very promising 2021, Aiden Horn. But this is also his first race back since he didn't do AMS, did he? No, he didn't even do any AMS.
No, he skipped that. He was supposed to, but
yeah, he hasn't done any 8-scale racing since Southern Indoor Nationals. So
yeah, so
I've done a lot of 10-scale racing, but that's what he's originally signed up to do. So, but I think Aiden, I guess after that second place at Nationals, we're expecting more, but
that's
he
the
hasn't
thing,
raced in a while.
because it's harsh saying this, but the national results was a little too good to be true, really, because like for him, because before that made a few mains. I don't think he even had a top 5 at any of these big races. I could be wrong, but I can't really remember. Finishing second and actually surprisingly competitive with Mayfield's pace. Yeah, that's a dream result for him. But that track clearly suited him. He was pretty fast all week. And after that, no, not like results like that, not even close. So I think that it looks a bit off when he finishes down low like this. he had issues obviously in the main, but yeah, I think he isn't, especially in 8 scale, he isn't a driver who, he isn't like Tyler Jones or like guys like this, because I don't say this is like a loose race for him. This is just like, okay, he's getting back to nitro again. He's trying to get into a rhythm and stuff like that. I don't think this is sort of a. I wouldn't put him on the losers list. I'm mute. You're mute.
I'm muted. I think I did put him on my loser list. I can't remember, but
Yeah, but that's one I disagreed on for sure, because
okay.
he's a 10 scale guy, at least until now, and I think the nationals results is sort of throwing us off a bit.
Okay.
Of
I could agree with that. I could live with that. All right, Max. Man, I don't know what to say. Jackson Brunson, so I didn't really expect much from Brunson, but putting it in the main, I would say him making the main is good, out of his, maybe he could have done a little bit more. And poor Brandon Rose, like breaking, that's his thing though, is always either flaming or breaking something, unfortunately. But man, hail to the king, Ryan Maifield right now, king of RC in America right now. Best driver in the world, I would say right now, because,
no,
so
it's
right now.
David Ronefalk or Ongaro. Like David Ronefalk and Ongaro both would have beat him at this race.
All right. So do we want to go on and talk about the couple things that I disliked about this race, or do we want to just go? Because now everybody's like, oh yeah, Mayfield road to Redavon, he's gonna be so good and all this stuff. I just want to kind of,
if he drives like this, then
No.
100%, no way he's winning.
no. And I think people don't understand how difficult Redavon is compared to this track. Redavon's about 4 of these tracks, number one. And
and it's like you can't make mistakes like Mayfield did here.
no, not at Redavon, not if corner speed needed. If you back off too much, and slowed on, you're gonna get overtaken by 3 or 4 guys at this track if it stays similar to how it is now.
Yeah, and
because
the way, like, especially like Rana fucking Ongaro, who drive full speed from first lap to the end. Like Mayfield has these times where he sort of lifts off a bit. And you can see where Rivkin was clearly catching up, and then Mayfield sort of got back into it.
Mhm.
You can't do that with Ongaro or Ronafort.
No,
you just can't.
no. Or
Like,
Canas,
you're done
or
if you
any
do
of these
that.
guys. They're gonna
Yeah,
make you
I
pay.
mean Canas, even Canas, and on a good day Berton too. So
Yeah.
it's he definitely. But I'm still convinced that first race of the year he's warming up. That's
Yeah, me too. So, all right, real quick. DNC is next. Big race for these guys where they'll all get together. Hopefully, we see the Europeans there. Mayfield and Ronafalk have won either the DNC buggy main since 2018 when we went. Nobody else has won it, mind you. Ronafalk wasn't there last year, and then in 2019, Ronafalk broke himself.
Didn't he win 2020?
Who? Ronafalk.
Ronafalk.
Ronafalk won 2018. Mayfield won 2019. Mayfield won 21.
But 2020.
Yeah, he did.
Won.
He won 2020. He did.
Yeah, Ronafalk.
I said that. Well, he would have won 2019 if he didn't hit the light post.
Yeah, wasn't it like a generator or something?
Yeah, would have, should have, shouldn't have. So, I think, and I noticed that Mayfield was not using his nighttime body at this race. So, DNC is just a whole different animal. Big track, rough, night racing. Different track conditions.
It's gonna be fun to see what goes on. Ronafalk for sure, because like if he was running HB, I would be still picking him like number 1. But now with Mayako, it's like I know how good the car is. The only thing is that I'm sort of like hesitant on picking him to win or pick him as a favorite is that it's a new car for him. Like even if the car is good, like having the perfect setup, and at DNC you need to trust the car to be fast. So that's something that could sort of be a tough thing for him for sure.
Yeah.
Ongaro, even with the new AE, even if he runs the American style setup with 5-hole pistons and like a little bit more forgiving front end, or like linear front end. I still don't see Ongaro like challenging these guys at DNC. In quali, yes, for sure. In main, I think it's gonna be too difficult. It's just
maybe he makes a change. I heard that this new AE car might be C-Hub. Is that true?
Oh, no way. They have, I think, less KPI, but I think that's about it.
Just making sure. All right. Anything you wanted to add about SIC? I just want to say kudos to Mark Santamaria was there. He had a big presence. His son won Sportsman e-buggy. Oh man, he had fewer people on the internet go crazy. I think it was a great race. So I do have some gripes. Like I know people would say it's not for me. I'm not in 18-hour days, and I'm not into those long-ass lines that you have to wait for practice, which I think is just ridiculous. I'm glad I don't race these races, but man, it was a long freaking day. I was up at 11:30 struggling to watch the Nitro Buggy main, and they had more races to go. I was like, I almost turned it off for the Nitro Buggy main. That's how tired I was. I think for me that we have to rant. We have to give them a rant. We have to give them some credit. Hey. Kudos to Dave and those guys for put on probably the best indoor races in the world. You know what I mean? But man, I think
Kino, I don't like the rant today because we have been very negative. So I have a suggestion.
I think we've been positive.
Well, we have been like no way what we say people think we're negative. So I know I have the feeling in my sort of
negativity sense is pinging.
My negativity sensor is pinging because the post you did today, people are already kind of like anxious. So I want to bring some sort of positivity into this.
Okay,
so during the main, the announcer said we want to grow the moving cameras thing. We want to share the live, and people did. We had over 1,000 viewers. And clearly they have got the message. So they know what the message is. The camera work by the guy, at times he seems a bit lost. I don't know who it is, if it's an RC guy or someone else. But when he was Rivkin and Mayfield battling, the camera work was actually really good. Mm-hmm. So I think the issue is he doesn't really know what to film. And generally the best thing to do is just find a battle, follow it for a lap or two. But what he keeps doing often is just switching cars, which is generally that's not good. Just keeping one car, keep it 1 or 2 laps, switch to another one. If it's a battle in the lead, obviously go to then, like you can switch like from something else. But apart from that, the camera work is much better than I found before. So positives. And they actually had cameras for the main. So in my books, this is already, I would not say acceptable, but this is improvement. I like this. This is steps forward. So
I agree with you.
Having camera work for the mains, I think that can be good enough. I don't think we necessarily need cameras for qualifying.
No, well, we do for top heats. No, I just want to.
It's not like I think this is. I can accept this. If this is what we get, I can accept this for now.
So this is what they do every race though. Top heats, and this is this. Listen, can I finish?
Not as good. Not as good.
No,
this better
and
than
AMS are the 2 races on this race that these races do that are small enough. You only need 1 moving camera. That's what they had, right? And I like the pit lane camera because we got to see those all. All right, I gotta say it, Mitch. I gotta say you. I said you are now internet famous. I know. I can see Mitch is just like so confused, and he ran and put the fuel in the head, and it's like, oh my gosh, Mitch. And so many people have messaged me and sent me that, but we wouldn't have saw that. We wouldn't have saw like cool. I like seeing the pits. So here was what I was thinking. I don't want to rant without giving solutions. So here I am. I'm gonna give Dave some solutions on how we fix this. Right? It's not, look, I get it. They want to get views and all that stuff. If they wait for money from YouTube, we will probably get proper equipment and people 20 years from now. You know what I mean? Because they just like to build up these subs and to make a bunch of money off YouTube costs a lot of money. What I did see was 2.5 hours of PMB commercials, right? For the whole 2 days that I watched this. So every time there was a break, there was a PMB commercial, right? What Dave needs to do, and if I was a sponsor of this event, because if you go to DNC, it's not, okay, we have to get over, it's just for the people at the race. People are watching this online. That's more exposure right there. As a sponsor of this event, you want to get as much optimum exposure as you can. Instead of having 2.5 hours worth of PMB ads over and over and over again, Dave can be selling these advertising spots to these sponsors. He can then charge them so their ads are getting played while they're racing. He can then hire 2 more people, because this is how easy it is. He does not have to get live RC in. Because here's something that they said. I showed this to you. Let me bring it up. And this is, I call BS on this. I call utter and what maximum bullshit? Is that what the guy said when he got taken out that time? This is maximum bullshit. The RC guy, the on-road guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah, this is Ronald Welker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maximum bullshit.
So
oh, no, it's actually on. It's the other one. Other German.
It's
guy.
the other guy, the blonde guy, Rainer or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah,
Race Time was on the YouTube chat, and this was sent to me, and he goes, they were answering somebody. Having a crew and equipment to run moving cams all weekend costs $10,000 outright and provides us no benefit whatsoever. But that's where you're wrong, Race Time. It provides benefits to your sponsors. It provides benefits to people who might want to come to your race. So here's what you do. Look, they got a few guys that they can use for this. They can bring mod in. What it needs is some organization. They don't need a whole much more equipment. They need people there. They need manpower. So they got Jacob, they got Dave. That's who's doing it right now, right? Mm-hmm. So what they need to do is bring somebody like Mod in who's good at streaming this stuff and knows how to do it. Or they can bring like Lance McDonald's guy who does all his stuff for his Florida RC Championships and did all the work for the Florida Carpet Championships, Danny and his brother. And they can work with they can work with Jacob, and then you have 3 people. I'm not saying we need moving cams for every minute of the race. You know what I mean? But definitely some better cameras and and they can be doing interviews and stuff like this. And this, you can then take that advertising time instead of playing that PMB commercial 1,000 times over the weekend. You know what I mean? This could have been income coming in to pay for that coverage and make more money for his race and give sponsors more exposure than what they need. I'm giving him the answer right now. You're not going to get 100K followers on Facebook. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get 100K subs because this is long form. Only us idiots are going to sit there and watch this for 8 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes. It's kind of like this podcast. I gave up on the fact that this was going to make money on YouTube because nobody's going to sit through 2 hours of us rambling or more longer. So this is what he does. It's so simple. Like, charge people for that. You know what I mean? Get from these companies some money. Say, hey, instead of having that PMB commercial, this could be your Beach RC commercial. This can be your TNR Fuels commercial. All this type of stuff. And then that would pay for just some better coverage, another camera, the manpower to have proper video camera guys up there. See? I ranted and I gave a solution.
Yeah, and I think I like the way you said it, but to me, like, it can be even simpler. You don't have to fly someone in like Mod.
These guys are close. These guys are close. It needs organization. You need to be able to say, hey, when we was with RCGP, when I worked with RCGP, when you was racing, and we would be like, hey, Ash or Zach, follow that car. And they would be able to follow it. That's what they need. You need somebody else to be able to do that. You know what I mean? The camera guy needs direction.
Oh, he does, yes. But I mean, he could be just following the race director. It's like we have done this in Finland, and the quality of these live streams has been incredibly good. I can post some and post it to NNRC Facebook, and people can see it's one guy, and then race director. That's it. They do a live stream. That's it, and it's really good quality. I need to find the link because I don't know if it's still up on YouTube, but it's one camera, one guy. And the quality is very good. You can see everything that's going on is really good racing, and it's actually fun to look at. And this is done, like, these guys do it for free. Maybe someone pays them $100 or something. You don't need 10K to do good enough, like acceptable videos.
I'm not expecting, I don't expect live RC full-on RCGP coverage. I'm not asking for that.
Yeah,
I get that. I'm not maybe for his PNB race or maybe for AMS, yes, but not for these races. But it's so simple, and he could 2 more people. That's all he needs, and he could get this paid for, and make more money, and give his sponsors more value.
The thing is, like, he could easily make money off of a few sponsors by doing this. Easily, he could say, "We have 1,000 people watching this."
Exactly,
and like how many dollars per view? And he could easily make a few hundred bucks per sponsor by doing
I
this.
agree with you. It's so easy. I actually don't know how this. I didn't think of this sooner. What it was, I got tired of watching the PNB commercial. That's what it was. I was like, and I just said, this could be product placement and making money. And the PNB commercial isn't making any money. People that are going to go to that race are going to go to it anyway. You know, I know what they want to break that 1,000 entry fee limit. That's what they want.
Oh yeah.
Anywho,
I get that, but also one more to continue on this subject of giving solutions. This is actually I feel a really good one.
Yeah, how do we fix that stupid long line?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So
because make no mistake, Tebow took a video of that line for a reason to show how silly it is because he doesn't like it, and he says it's immoral. He says not moral for his because he says get people to stand in line, and it shouldn't be fair. On his level, as a pro level, it's not fair to the pro guys.
Oh no, and I've heard from a lot of people that a lot of these guys who run in the pro class sometimes might even make the main here and there. Just cut the line straight out. Just cut it. Not even a guy waiting for them. They just go talk to their friend and I'm now here. Just straight up cut the line, drive many times in a row, and don't even marshal. And these are guys who are sponsored. These are guys who sometimes make the A main and actually have sort of at least should have some responsibility in the business. These are not like beginners, or these are not like maybe full pros or whatever. But now coming into the solution part. So right now the issue is that the only way to get on to drive is to pick your spot on the line. So there's like you pick a spot by standing there. And how it goes is people drive 5 minutes, it switches, people drive 5 minutes, it switches. So instead of people standing there, what if you had a list of drivers, and when you put your entry in, you say, I want to be on the track at this time, and you check your mark. Every single driver has, let's say, 3 runs per class or whatever, and you check your time. If you come in an entry late, you obviously have less places to check your time in. And if you don't have a spot you go in, you can go see if there's an empty spot on a driver's stand, wait for an empty spot and go fill it. This way you avoid the line. You can keep the open practice system, which I don't really like. But if people really want it to be this, if race time doesn't want to organize heats or anything, this is the easiest possible way. Just have a list where people check in. I want to be here at this time. I'm going to be on the track. They go there, and there's going to be one guy checking, the same guy who now announces switch the drivers. That guy goes there. When the other heat is on the track, he goes there, looks at the list. There's going to be 15 or 20 guys, or how many are in these practice heats. And he goes through all of them who's waiting to drive. And he says, okay, one guy's missing. We need one more guy from the next heat. And then someone can fill it up. So you always have full heats. No one has to wait in line. And you have a list of who should be on there. This is super easy. Like 1 minute before the switch, a guy goes with the list, checks, is this you, is this you, is this you? 15 guys, okay, check, this is this full, switch, then next seat, the same thing. Only thing you have to do is when you enter the race, you pick when you want to be on the track. That's it.
Or
nothing more.
Or they can do like I've seen in other races where you have punch cards and you get
that too. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. No, it takes manpower, and it takes it. Just let.
No,
for the life of me, I can't see how standing in that damn line. For the life of me, I can't see how standing in that line for 40 minutes is fun. I just can't see it. You know, and I'm so glad I don't race. I don't race anyway, so I'm so glad I don't race.
It doesn't take manpower because already there's a guy who says, now you switch heats. why doesn't that guy go there instead of just saying switch heats? He goes there, punches the cars, yells in the microphone, switch heats. Then he goes, does whatever again after whatever 5 minutes. He does the same thing. It's the same guy can do both. It's not nothing more than that. It's not more manpower. That's just an excuse. And this is a very simple solution. This keeps the open practice format. Everyone has their full day of practice. It's free and goes for whatever. And now when you actually have a list of the names, if people don't marshal, you can maybe actually get who didn't marshal and go say, hey, maybe don't do that next time, or you don't get your practice.
I agree. That was another thing. Nobody wanted to marshal after practicing and stuff. It was they were missing marshal because dude, I'm sorry, that I get it why people like that 3-day format, but man, that's just too long. 18-hour days. But people go. No, but so I mean, that's all that matters.
The thing is, it's clear that they are afraid of straying away from this format, but at least try to do small things to make it more fun for the people.
Yeah, I agree. They don't have to make it a cap race.
Yeah, they don't have to do this to every race, but at least do something because these fixes it's not hard to do. It's not a manpower issue for someone to go in there, punch the cars and yell in the microphone, okay, switch heats. That's exactly the same thing he does now, but just he doesn't go there and punch the cars. Like he has to walk a bit more. Okay, but put a guy who needs some workout so he can get his workout at the same time.
With that said, I did enjoy the race. I was happy that we did get some coverage of it. I was happy with the level of coverage. I enjoy listening to Lance. It makes the racing exciting.
Yeah. Lance is good.
Just like the practice thing, a little tweak here and there, a little bit of manpower with that. You can turn that into making money. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. That's just my thoughts. I know Dave's gonna get angry at me because I'm criticized the race, but
no, but I think like if he gets angry at this, I think it's on him because we haven't been, oh, you did a shitty job, you did this. Like I'm saying what you can do and what you can do to improve. We have already said what you should do. Now we're saying maybe try something like this. Like if he wants to keep to his own thing, okay, yeah, do it. But at least do this because this is not hard. This doesn't change the fundamentals of what you're doing. This is just something that makes it easier for everyone and more fun for everyone. And it's not like because cap entry races and raising the entry fee and stuff like that, it's a risk in business terms. Although long term, it's gonna make you most likely more money, happier customers, so on and so on. But short term, it's always a risk to change your business style. This doesn't change much. These suggestions we've given today doesn't cost you much. Maybe you lose $100 for a cameraman if you don't get sponsors or whatever. But that's $100. Come on,
it's not $10,000. We're not expecting you to have like Scotty Ernst and Tyler Hooks and a 5 camera. I'm not expecting that, but you can get that. You can get a better coverage, and you could get it paid for and make some money off it. So I hope that if we see a change, we know where you heard it first.
Yeah.
Anywho, and it's funny. They just kind of need to change that attitude too. From there's no benefit for us, but there is benefit for you because people all around the world are watching your race, and more people are watching these races now, and you can get more money. You can provide a better service for your sponsors because I'll be honest with you, like nobody cares about banners around a track at the race. Everybody's there racing their cars, what they want to be doing, and all that type of stuff. It's people outdoors who say, "Oh wow, this company sponsored this," or somebody just stumbling on that sort. So. All in all, I'm glad I enjoyed the first big race of the season. We have the TNR A-Main Challenge coming up this weekend. I don't know if we're going to have many pro guys there, but it's still a good race. Lots of giveaways. The Nationals warm-up is this weekend. I doubt we're going to have coverage, but it'd be good to see some video from there. But our next big race, Max, and our first race on the NNRC Cup, Europe Cup race, is Montpellier.
Yes.
So we'll be covering that, and that's our first European NNRC Cup race.
Is it this week already?
No, they have the warm-up. It's in February.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So this weekend is, actually, because I was talking to Mao, and he's going to help Alex Sanketin, who is the Mayako driver as well. So
It hasn't been
really
officially
excited
announced,
to
but
see
he's
that.
announced.
Oh, he announced in the people who watched the live stream watched this show. So
Oh, by the
it's
way,
basically
thank you to
announced.
all the 200 people that stayed and watched JQ and I for 2 hours and 45 minutes the other night.
By the way, that was one of the most what do you call it, discombobulated and catastrophist lives I ever seen, because you two were just fighting all the time. But it was a lot of fun to see. So
Yeah, it
it's
was
a fun
fun.
show.
Now he's sick. So
Yeah.
JQ's been sick for the last few days. All right, Max, I don't have much more to add. I look forward to Montpellier. I look forward to the racing this weekend. We have a freaking busy 4 months of RC. And shout out to Race Time and all them guys for putting on a good race. Shout out to Mark Santamaria. I enjoyed his video there. And shout out to Ryan Maifield, man. He's out there killing it. Like, I mean, what can you say? Like, he's just Mayfield in the whole entire field. He's got these guys shook, man. He's got them shook. But somebody's gonna get him. I think Fend and Tebow and Rivkin are coming for him. And Tasman when he gets on form. And Cole can beat him.
I want to see more from Rivkin, because if
Is this your inner AE fanboy coming out?
No, not really. I just because this showed some promise. Like
Yeah, it
like
did,
first
it
time I was actually a bit impressed by Rivkin, because usually when he's not out front at the start, he finishes second or third. Now, okay, he finished second, but like he was at least he was almost there. Like he was fighting for it. He got by a few times, and yeah, so first time I've seen anything like this from Rivkin.
Yeah, I would agree there. I enjoyed it. We got a lot of racing coming up. That's all I know. I think that's it, Max. We ain't even supposed to do this for an hour, but of course, we been a whole hour overboard.
Yeah.
Good thing this wasn't like a whole podcast. This is our new format. Monday, Tuesday releases of race news. And then we have a full interview coming on this week. Our guest is Jackson Brunson, as well as your questions. And we might have a live with Tebow this weekend, maybe. Maybe I'll just get him on to get a recap of his race and see how that went. But yeah, Max, thank you for your time. I know it's getting late there in Finland. Thank you to the NNRC squad around the world for just supporting us. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you to the patrons of the podcast. If you wish to become a patron, every little bit helps. There's a link for that in the written description of this podcast. Thank you to those guys. Don't worry, people. I'm still working on getting everybody's Christmas gifts out. Everybody's busy. So, it's, giving out gifts is kind of at the last thing they want to do when they're busy first thing of the year. And shout out to all the awesome companies that support us, man. We can't do it without these guys either. Shout out to invisiblespeed.net. Check them out. Get your racing better. Check out Invisible Speed. The price has been dropped as well. High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Mayako Movement, Lugs Racing Tires, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, JTP RC, RCGP, House of RC. Don't forget that the signups are opening for them soon. Get on the House of RC, make your profile, and makes your sign up so much easier. And I want to say a special shout out to my boy RC Kevin. And of course, Max, we have drivers now. Like real drivers. Like not just you running my decals. Not saying that you're not a real driver. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you're not a real driver, but we have like real pro drivers now. The Viking, Alex Hagberg, I think Tebow is on board. I don't know. I think we're friends. And maybe some other guys. But I really appreciate that. And shout out to those guys because they put a lot of time and they give me their time for the podcast. Max, I think that's it. Go get some sleep. We have some questions to answer later on this week. And
it was fun to be back, dude. Super fun.
You needed a break. So
I did.
Yeah.
I hope I wasn't as arrogant as last year.
No,
Probably
it was
more,
very
though.
less arrogant than I thought you would be. Now that you're back with no repercussions on the, so all good. You know what, dude? I think that's it for today. Remember, everybody, Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Max and the arrogant one. Oh, no. Max the arrogant one and Lefty are out. I almost forgot. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
That wasn't so bad.